What is the title of your book?
Moments of Clarity. Let's not go there once again. You're entitled to your wrong opinion. That's fine. I stand on my credentials and my knowledge. Something you can never take away.
Hello and welcome to Moments of Clarity, a spinoff of the Let's Scream podcast where hosts Parker Wilsey
and Stevie Nash
take a break from screaming at our favorite horror movies and have a moment of clarity. What are we holding space for this week, Stevie?
We're going to hold space for our friendship.
Our friendship. We've been friends for almost 10 years now at this point.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
It is kind of wild to think about. We met in 2016.
I know. That's crazy.
So, yeah, that's going to be the topic for the episode. This will feel more like a traditional podcast.
Yes. This is our first episode of Moments of Clarity, which is just going to be our little side podcast where we just kind of take a break from Let's Scream and just kind of discuss whatever we really are feeling that week. And we just feel like it allows our viewers and listeners to get a little bit more into our lives and learn a little bit more about us.
Yeah.
That's not related to, like, our opinions on horror movies.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, like, I've been listening to a lot of Good Children lately. I kind of want some of their nachos a little bit. And, yeah, I felt like we had so many stories from our friendship through the years that we could share. And, yeah, where did we meet, Stevie?
Well, we technically first met, because I had always heard about you because we had a mutual friend who we will name...
Benny Bean.
Benny Bean. Benny Bean. Miss Benny Bean. Miss Benny Bean. Oh, well, she would always talk about you because you two went further back.
Yes, Benny Bean was my friend from high school.
And I met them freshman year.
And by the way, I don't know how much tea we're gonna spill in this episode. I don't know how much drama we're gonna really want to get into. I figured we would keep it kind of light. All of these people and all these stories, we're cool with.
We're cool with.
Yeah, I love you.
Any...
I still consider them all good friends.
Yes. We have no ill will towards any of them.
But we didn't ask anyone's permission to use their, like, names when telling these stories. And since this is going to be public, we'll give them, like, aliases, I guess.
And if they figure it out, that means they're listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for the listens.
Thanks for the listens.
We were at a friend's party, and I don't remember this night, because it was near the end of the year, right?
I'm surprised that you don't remember this night. Just kidding.
Because I was definitely intoxicated and throwing up in the toilet.
Yeah.
And you were fighting with your boyfriend.
I was fighting with my boyfriend that night. That's all I can kind of remember.
And our friends were like, oh, that's Stevie. And you're like, oh, hey. And I was in the toilet going, hey.
And I was like, oh, hey, Stevie. Like, they're preoccupied.
Yeah.
I guess I'll meet them later.
Yeah.
And then we really met our sophomore year of college. I wanted to make more queer friends.
Yeah.
That was kind of, because Benny Bean and I got really close in high school. And Benny Bean was probably my first, like, gay best friend.
Yeah.
And so going into college, I was like, no, I want to make that more of a goal.
Straight up, like, for me, like, I didn't have gay friends until college. So I had, named Jackson.
Okay, Jackson.
Jackson, if you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Benny Bean.
Benny Bean, Jackson.
And you. And then we also have, we can say Avery's name.
Avery.
Hi,
Avery.
Hey, Avery.
Love you.
Love you, Ave.
Congrats on your top surgery.
Avery got top surgery.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Very excited.
So, I remember the first actual time that we met was when Benny Bean and I were living together. Our sophomore year, and you just came by and you had your little ponytail. Do you remember your like when you were wearing ponytails?
Little ponytails.
Little like top knot, because the top, that was the age of the top.
Yes, I had like no hair. I had no hair business to be doing it.
And I remember
now I have this hair, so I'm like, okay, I can kind of do it now.
Yeah. You can definitely rock a pony if you wanted to. Back then, it was like this tiny little pony, and it was like bobbing up and down when you talked. And I remember thinking you were funny. And also, I knew of you because we
was throwing up in the toilet.
Well, yes. But also, you would do social media posts. I think back on Facebook or maybe Instagram. I can't remember. But you were really funny. And I remember that you had, like, Britney moments. Do you remember doing your Britney inventions?
Britney inventions, yes.
And one thing about Stevie is that they're really good at comedy writing. And I think that was some of your best work. It would be random photos you would find of Britney Spears
in front of the Eiffel Tower. So I did this whole long story of how she, like, made the Eiffel Tower as a gift to the French people.
Yeah, or like how it was always her and her best friend Steve Jobs.
Yes,
invented like CDs or something.
Yes, because there's a photo of Steve Jobs showing a CD, and it's a Britney Spears CD. So I'm like,
they invented
CDs. They invented CDs, and she worked really close with Steve Jobs. She was his mentor.
Yeah, right. So there was this whole like Britney lore that you had invented, and it was so funny every week. Maybe if we can find them, I can edit them in because
There's some good ones.
But then I was like,
one was democracy. Britney invented democracy.
When she invented democracy, she was inventing everything.
I did this whole rant about like how the first ever election was like George Bush versus Al Gore, but George Bush cheated.
Yeah, right.
So she still knew she had a long way to go.
Right, and it was always like she paved the way.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Britney invented public transportation?
Because there was a Britney Spears
bus somewhere. Yeah, it was good. And so I remember being like, oh, Stevie's funny. I gotta get to know Stevie. And then we were hanging out and would read share tweets.
Because if y'all have not read share tweets, going through share tweets is amazing.
Should I look some up right now, honestly?
I was looking at tweets and saw that I really hurt someone's feelings. I'm sorry. It was light blue background with white egg shape. Bye.
Can anyone see me?
My screen went from white to black. Help. And then Nancy Sinatra replies, restart.
In all caps, period.
Okay, just sent 100 discs.
No context. There's this one of her tagging herself and saying, hi. So we would just do that.
That was one of our, like, first hangouts.
Yeah. And we played The Sims that day.
We played The Sims that day.
In my dorm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another defining moment was you and Benny Bean did not believe me that Mariah Carey was good.
Yeah, we were haters.
And y'all did not believe me. But I started getting y'all to, like, because I would play her, like, in the car, because I love Mariah.
And I very quickly...
Because you became singers, and you were like, oh, she can sing.
So hyperfixated.
Because I remember you had an Ariana Grande poster
I was
in
in an Ariana era. A Dangerous Woman had me in a chokehold.
And I think you were like, no, Ariana Grande.
I know, what a little faggot.
I was like, oh!
But trust and believe, I am like #1 Mariah Carey fan.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Everyone knows
And
that.
I always say to people, I'm like, I'm sorry, I created the monster.
monster.
That is Parker Wilsey.
It's
the
so
lamb.
True. I am #1 lamb. Don't fucking come for Mariah Carey, because you will get clocked.
You will be dealt with.
You will get checked. So... yeah, that's a big aspect.
That's a big aspect of our friendship is our love for Mariah.
Carey.
I got you, because you also got so hooked to all of the, like, fan edits on YouTube. You were addicted to, like, some of that shit.
I mean, I can't imagine where we would be without our mutual
love
for Mariah Carey. And then we went to see Mariah Carey
last year.
No, it was a
year
full
before
circle thing. Was it really 2 years ago at this point?
Well, a year ago, back in December.
But what a full circle moment.
Full circle. We finally got to see her.
My favorite moment from the Mariah Carey concert is... so Mariah Carey has a song called Oh Santa. When we were getting in the car to drive to Chicago to go see
Mariah. We put on Mariah Christmas music. You're like...
yeah, and Stevie was like, oh, we don't need to play Oh Santa. I don't really care about this song. I really like it. And so, like, I kind of filed that information in my head. Tell me why. At the
I
concert,
kind of like hyped myself up.
Mariah
throughout
Carey,
the day.
Mariah Carey comes out and she goes, "This next song is called Oh Santa." I have never seen you lose your shit more than when Mariah Carey sang "Oh Santa." You were like, "Oh Santa! Oh my god!"
Can I tell you, that's the only part of the song I know because I keep.
Oh, Santa.
I will like. That's my thing during like the holidays. I was just to randomly go, "Oh Santa!"
Yeah, and now it's like become this whole thing.
And I think I did it because I did it the whole day. I was like, because we did listen to it, and I was like, "Oh Santa!" I was like, okay, wait,
It's a good
fun.
song.
It's kind of a fun one.
Good song.
I hyped myself so much up by the concert by the time I was like, I think I'm actually kind of excited.
You were like, as she was saying it, she's like, because she took a really long pause between "Oh" and "Santa." She was like, "This next song is Oh," and you were like, "Santa," and you're like, "Yeah, Santa."
She's amazing.
We love Mariah. We also have a mutual adoration for Madonna.
Madonna is another big one for
who
us.
we also saw last year, and
Yes.
it changed my life.
Yes.
Love Madonna. We'll have probably
The improv changed my life. It was not good, but it changed my life.
So during the Celebration tour, Madonna decided to do like these improv transitions where she would do banter with her and Bob the drag queen. Tell me why it was never like it was always so. It was a shit show. It was a shit
they were
show.
talking over each other.
It
I
was
had no idea what was going on.
incoherent, and I like turned to you and was like, "What is going on?"
I also remember at the beginning of the show, I still don't know what she was talking about, but she was complaining about something, and I remember, like, after her first, like, 2 songs, I remember looking at you and going, what is she already bitching
She's
about?
already bitching. That's the thing about Madonna.
I love her, though.
That's the thing about Madonna is she is not good at banter. Her banter will stop. Like it'll be the best show you've ever seen, and then time stands still in between her songs. Like time goes by so slowly. It really does go by so slowly.
It's like, anytime she
has
does
to get
it,
on the
it's
mic.
even on, like, recorded shows, like the Madame X tour, she does it, and it's like,
Oh,
girl, just sing. I love Madonna. I love her.
love her so much.
And I knew you had wanted to show an interest in wanting to do the drag show, right?
Well, so yeah, I think that's like the next chapter for sure. So,
Or no, because that was sophomore year. But
Yeah,
we
it
didn't
was-
do it until
well, this is what
Junior
we
year.
did. So, I would say that's like the next phase of our friendship was wanting to do drag. So we were both huge fans of RuPaul's Drag Race. That's another thing we had in common.
Yeah.
And we had been wanting to get in the drag scene. I also feel like you were one of the only other like non-binary people that I knew.
Mhm.
And I felt really comfortable like, okay, I can express my gender stuff that I kind of was going through at the time.
Yeah.
And this is a person that I can like practice makeup with.
Yeah.
And
I remember that a lot. That was my junior year apartment. That was our junior year.
was that okay? I wasn't sure if we started our sophomore year or
I
not.
don't think we
Just,
did.
like,
I think we
painting.
sophomore year Halloween we did.
Yeah,
I
I think
remember
that's when
that.
it is. And we looked like feet.
We looked awful.
We looked like
I don't think I have
ogres.
any photos.
I have the photos. First of all, it was like everyone wanted to be a fucking drag queen in like 2016,
Yeah.
2017 era. Everyone was wanting to do it, but you got this wave of like baby queens who
Looked like feet.
so bad.
Looked crunchy.
And
Even the good ones looked crunchy at
kinda
a
looked
point.
crunchy.
I'm not going to say who. Well, actually, I can. She's never going to listen to this. Ryan. Ryan looked like a foot sometimes.
No, I always thought Ryan.
Oh, wait. Ryan might actually listen to this one.
She might. Whatever.
Sorry, Ryan. You know it.
We would say it to her face, so whatever.
I had there was a photo of her and another baby queen that we used to be a friend with.
Uh-huh.
Of them looking so bad at the Ball State Drag Show, and it was my background for so long.
Well, the lighting in those shows are.
Girl, it wasn't the lighting's fault.
I always felt like Ryan, like maybe Ryan would have like a bad day every once in a while. We all do.
Well, it was like early Ryan.
She
It was
just-
really Ryan's like second time doing drag, but it was like it's my favorite photo for Ryan.
Ryan was just always the prettiest one, though. Like that's why we can say that. is
Well,
because
no, I came
Would
on
you-
the scene.
Yeah, Ryan was always the prettiest one, so...
No, Avery said I was the prettiest one. And I trust Avery. When it comes to
Well,
makeup.
that's your first mistake. But you were really pretty.
I was.
You were really pretty. I think we looked good.
We got to a point where we looked really pretty. Not all of us. Benny Bean.
Well, maybe that's another moment we can touch on.
That is another...
Because we would spend...
That'll be a drama episode of Moments.
Do you think so? We shouldn't get into it now? Because I think
we
that's
could.
such a funny moment.
We can. So our first drag show was a charity drag show for the school, our college. It was for the LGBTQ plus group, club.
And you had your Penelope Tate from Amanda's show wig on.
Was this... Yes. But was this the show?
I'm Amanda's #1 fan,
It was my
please.
bob. It was my black bob. And you know what? I stand by it.
No, because you were on the cutting edge of bobs.
Because I was like, here's the thing. Because y'all were like, why'd you get a bang bob? And I was like, first of all, short hair, you don't have to style it. And two, the bang, I was like, if my makeup looks bad, no one's going to know.
Right.
Because you're wearing a bang.
Covers like that kind of mashed potato-y.
Yep. I'm like, because I'm like, I was still at that point of like, I hadn't fully figured out how to block my brows. Like, I either got it or like it did not go well, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, the show's about to start. Okay?
And we had gotten to the place early to like get ready. So we were there maybe like 2 hours before because we wanted to just make sure we had plenty of time. We could be relaxed. So we were putting the finishing touches on. We probably had like 20 minutes. Till the
I think
show
I
started.
was putting on my lashes.
I think I might
You were
have been
doing
that.
a lip or something.
Or lip or adjusting my wig or something.
This one queen comes in. Let's call her Diana LaDuck. Diana LaDuck.
Diana LaDuck. Diana LaDuck. Which actually is kind of a cunty drag name.
Wait, yeah. Feel free to take that.
So we can take Diana LaDuck. Diana LaDuck walks in with
She was crunchy. Let's describe her first. She was very crunchy.
not a lick of makeup on. Walks in, not a lick of makeup on. No costume on,
She
nothing.
didn't shave.
Which, like, I don't care.
Well, I love a bearded queen. Don't get me wrong. But she wasn't trying to give bearded queen.
And it was just like...
She was putting on makeup over the beard, is what I mean.
Yeah, she just showed up. And I was like, oh, Diva, you're here?
We were all in full drag, and we turn around.
We were in the mirror
I was
looking,
like
and
the
we
corner
just...
of my eye. I was
we
like,
just watched her in the mirror walk in, and we all kind of like...
come in, like not even dressed. Her drag is in like a Kroger grocery bag. Just shoved. The wig is like shoved in at the bottom of like all her shit. And I just remember like kind of seeing that and then turning to you. And we both kind of like had a moment where it was like,
And we looked at Betty Bean.
and then looked back and forth and being like,
Okay.
all right.
All right. I'm not worried about how I look.
All right. We look great. We look great.
All right. We killed it.
Okay, so then I feel like the Benny Bean debacle was like
The next day.
next day, right?
The next day, because there was an open stage at the local bar for drag.
So we were like, let's do it. Let's sign up. Let's go balls to the wall. Let's do drag, because we were like really into it at that point. I feel like we had prepared very well for this show. We had our CDs already.
We knew what we were wearing. We knew what we were performing.
Had
we
it
were
all
like,
locked in.
Like, this is my... We had it locked in, yes. Well, the plan was to get ready at my place, because I was living alone at that point. My roommate had graduated, so she left. And so it was like, I remember that junior year apartment I had all to myself.
And I would stay in her
You would stay all the time.
room all the time.
Yeah. That was the plan, that we were going to get ready at my place. She then changes it and wants to get ready at her friend's place.
That's what it was.
And tells us to like come over. And we're like,
because
no,
one thing about
all my stuff's here. I'm not dragging all my crap everywhere. I think some of your stuff had been there too. Because you were like, you probably came over after the drag show to my place, so you just brought all your drag there, and it just made the most sense for it to be there. I'm sure that probably happened.
Yeah.
It just made zero sense for us to drag all of our crap there. It just made no sense.
It was so inconvenient, and at that point, we still were taking longer to do.
Yeah, and we were like,
and
no, and like we have like, because I think I had this light. I had this ring light, so I was like, no, we want like the good light. We want to like, we
wanted to look good.
We want to do it here. This is where all of our stuff is.
So we just decided to like, I think, ignore her. But then it was a whole debacle of, she needed me to burn her CD. Do you remember this?
Yes, which we already had done. So we had to go
Had to
to
go
the library.
all the way back, and I think didn't we have like
we
our
had drag
makeup
on?
on?
So I was like, and we were not like in that point of like, oh, this is fine, this is safe.
I did not feel comfortable. Now it's fine. I'm like at a good point in my like gender identity journey as a non-binary person.
But I was also like, I'm not confident in my makeup, and I'm not wearing a wig right now.
Right, exactly. That's so mortifying. Like
I'm not in full geesh right now.
Exactly.
I don't like this.
So that was annoying as fuck. And then she was just kind of being rude all day. And she was gonna like try and make us late. And the thing is, she kind of relied on us to make her look good at that point too.
And she had no excuse. She had all the time in the fucking world to be doing her own makeup.
Right,
Practicing makeup, practicing everything. And I remember we did go to that place to pick her up. And we went in, and I remember...
She looked bad.
And me and you looked at each other and we're like...
We looked good.
And we were like, okay,
all right.
I feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, strike one.
Because she really had made that whole day a disaster.
Just annoying for us. Like,
So
we were,
much.
like, trying to have it... We had it so planned. Like, the plan had been set... I know the plan had been set for, like, a while. Like, a week, at least. Of like, oh, this is when we knew that we were going to do the open stage...
Yeah.
We knew what the plan was. It wasn't like, oh, maybe we should do this open stage. It was like, oh, let's do the open stage. We're going to get ready at my place.
Get into it.
Boom, boom, boom.
So we get to the club. We get to the bar.
And this is where I met Vanity.
This is when I met Vanity, who,
came to that drag show we had just done.
Yeah.
Complimented me because I did Carly Rae Jepsen, which that's when I knew I loved Vanity. Well, that was like my first of like, okay, I like this girl.
Yeah.
And then
she came up to me this night and told me that she loved my look, and she was like, oh, this looks so Madonna. And you know me, that's
you were going for Madonna that night. I remember you were going for Madonna.
I was like, that is perfect. So yeah.
You were very happy about that. And then I also remember that night they did Let 'Em Talk by Kesha. Vanity did Let 'Em Talk. And that was when
So
I was
funny.
like, I love them. I absolutely love this human being.
It was such a punk performance, and yeah, they just killed it.
And that was when I was like, I get it, and I will always fuck with Vanity Rex.
Yeah. Which, if you haven't watched our episode of The Tingler with Vanity Rex over on the Let's Scream podcast, go do it. She's brilliant. And if you don't know who Vanity Rex is, educate yourself.
So we go to the bar. I remember, we're doing our performance now at this point. We're doing performances. I remember you and I both did you do, wait, I have to ask. Is this when you did?
The night.
I
made the mistake.
What you waiting for?
I made... Okay. Okay. Let me explain. I made the mistake of getting too drunk that night. And it was the first time... Okay. So that first time we did drag was the day before, and it was for that, like, charity show.
Yeah.
Right? So we weren't, like, getting fucked up before that.
No.
Now, for this
I
show...
did sneak in alcohol.
Okay, well, maybe we took a shot. Okay, maybe we did get fucked up for that, too. Anyway. But this was... we could get really drunk because it was a bar. So I was like, okay, like, let me take advantage of this. Let me have a couple drinks before. Whatever. I was young. Okay? I would not have done this now.
And we were nervous.
I was so nervous. So I go out there and I perform What You Waiting For by Gwen Stefani. And it was good. And I was wearing my Alice in Wonderland look. It looked great. I thought it looked really cute. It was going great. I had props. I was Alice, bitch. I was going down the rabbit hole. I was doing all this shit. So I had these pack of playing cards.
And you found it.
And I don't know why. But in the heat of the moment, you know, sometimes things take over you. And I decided to throw the cards everywhere. Like, do like a confetti kind of thing with the cards. First of all, I don't even think that anyone could have really seen it the way I threw it. I kind of threw it behind me. And they, like, didn't really make an impact. But the cards, like, spewed out all over this fucking stage. And made, like, a huge mess.
And you had to clean it all up, and they got, like, annoyed.
And everyone was shitty with me. Like, all of the drag performers going after me. Like, apparently there was a drag performer who was like, I cannot believe she did that. Like, da-da-da-da. Look, I was young.
It was a mistake. You learned from it. And you even knew in the moment after you did it, you were, like, picking them up. I remember you going, why the fuck did I do this?
Because like everyone had to wait, and then there were cards that I didn't see that people were apparently like tripping over.
I I did really good that night.
You ate. What did you?
I think I did disco tits.
Which was always my favorite number that you did. So we each had to perform 2 songs that night. Benny Bean goes out and does Break the Ice by Britney Spears. Her wig falls off. Her wig fell off that first number. It was funny. We laughed. It felt good. She goes for a second number. Her wig fell off again. And it was like right at the beginning of this number too. Like I don't think she knew what a bobby pin was at that point. And so we looked at each other. I remember being like, and we both had this smile, like that kind of look. And we'll always say that night.
I believed in God for a moment because he snatched her wig
Not once, but twice. One for you.
And one for me.
Yeah.
Or one for you.
One for you and one for you.
Both for me.
No, one
because
for you
I
and
was
for
driving. No, I'm just
Right.
kidding. And that was like my favorite. I'm gonna be real. I loved when we were performing in Muncie before all the like drama and shit happened. That was some of the most fun I had in drag. And then performing, my absolute favorite was performing with Kendra at Black Circle.
Yeah,
it was the best
I miss those days.
to do drag.
Yeah.
It was the best time.
Yeah, we don't really perform anymore.
No. Last time I performed was over a year ago in a shit show.
Yeah, same. It's been a while for me. It's been like 2 years at this point.
Yeah, wasn't it? I remember which one.
My like 80s workout tape, I think,
Yeah.
was the last thing I did.
Yeah.
And I love drag.
Yeah.
And I love drag artists. I love going and seeing drag artists and watching them perform. And drag was very important in my kind of like journey as a non-binary person. Learning to be comfortable with myself because I never felt comfortable being masculine or trying to be masculine until I started doing drag, because I was always so attracted to the idea of femininity and I always wanted to explore that side of myself.
Yeah.
And doing drag and realizing how people saw women and saw femininity made me fall more in love with that for sure, and find empowerment in that. But it also made me become more comfortable in my like boy side.
Yeah.
And
well, it
like,
also helped me to just be more, because like very same for me, like helped me to be very comfortable with who I am as being a non-binary person. Really helped me understand this balance of masculinity and femininity, and like
the balance.
It's not, and it's like it really helped me like discover that like no, like everyone's really different. Everybody and every body is different. So because I've never felt like a boy, but I've never felt like a girl.
Yeah.
Like, you know? And so, like, when I discovered, like, this balance between the two, it's, like, it felt very freeing.
Freeing.
It's, like, 100%. It's the most, it's just, like, it just made me not care about so much shit. Like, when people talk about men's or women's clothing, I'm like, it's fabric. Who?
That's the thing, is that it,
cares?
like, becoming non-binary, or, like, the journey towards being a non-binary identifying person was really... It relieved all of the anxieties behind all of those stigmas.
Yes.
And behind all of the sort of like boxes that we put people in. And it's like, you are a man, you are a woman. You have to be this, you have to be that. And
that's just not realistic.
It's not realistic.
And I think it's would help so many people. Like, I'm not saying everyone has to be non-binary, because that's just not reality.
That's not,
But it's just, I think people are just too... It's a culture thing, especially here where we're at. It's just, they're so obsessed with this, like, defining, like, I have to do this in order to be a man, or I have to do this in order to be a woman. It's like, it's just not...
Like, it's chill.
Like, just do what you want to do.
Yeah,
like,
just be who you are. So that was definitely important for me. And I always loved drag. But, God, drag is hard.
It's exhausting on your body, and it's mentally draining, and it's physically...
I
just don't have the time. We got full-time
We don't
jobs.
have the time. I give it up to people, and I said this when we talked about musical theater on the Let's Scream podcast, too. I give it up for people who still perform.
Yeah.
Because I just have a small social battery, and it is expended after about 5 minutes of being on stage somewhere. But I do still love it.
The thing I loved about drag, though, is, like, I loved the Making my outfits and my
yeah.
clothes. I loved
to have that creative outlet.
Just be like, I can do whatever I want and nobody can tell me any different. It was
Yeah.
like the one like art form that I was like, oh, I can finally just do whatever the hell I want to do.
And you know what? You're so good at it. You're so good at it. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. It was very important to me and all those people that we met.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of my best friends I'm still friends with like all my like drag sisters and family.
Even Benny Bean.
Even Benny Bean. Even though
I love you, girl.
Benny Bean.
I know. Where are you? And I don't hold any animosity.
No,
this was years ago.
No. Oh, well, another funny Benny Bean moment. I don't even know what I was mad at her about. And we have to share this. We were with Ryan. And Ryan was driving us somewhere. And we're getting into Ryan's car. And Benny Bean gets into the side of the car that's like on the sidewalk. And like, I'm like, scoot over.
Like, because there's nobody on the other side.
Like nobody on the other side. Like, and I'm not going to walk in the street to get into the effing car. And she
arms crossed.
Go around.
Just go around.
And she closes
slams the door in your face. And you turn and look at me because I'm behind you. Like, we both had to get in this fucking car. So she needed to scoot over. And you just go, she's being such a fucking cunt right now. I cannot deal with her.
And I made you get in the middle. Yeah. Into the small middle seat.
Even though you guys are skinny and I'm thickums.
Needed to happen. I was like, I can't be next to her. And Ryan heard all of this. And Ryan was like, what the fuck?
That's when she knew that there were
sometimes there was tension.
Some interpersonal dynamics.
I think I was also living with and Avery at this point. I think I was living with Benny Bean and Avery at this point. And so I think at this point, I was so fed up with them.
Yeah. I miss her, though.
I miss her now.
Because, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm sure the next day we were like, love her again.
I love her.
She's funny and, yeah. Yeah, we made so many good friends, had such a community.
Yeah.
So that's college. I feel like that wraps up
college.
Our college experience in a nutshell. So post-grad, you were, like, trying to be an esthetician.
Yes.
I was working at Starbucks, trying to figure my shit out.
Yes.
What I wanted to do. And I met Vivian and moved in with Vivian.
Our little Vivi.
Who is,
besides
you, my best friend.
Deep friend of the pod.
For sure. Very deep friend of the pod. And you were going through some difficulties at home.
Mm-hmm.
And we let you live with us for a little bit.
I lived on your couch for like 6 months.
For 6 months.
Thank you.
And we had so much fun.
Yes.
And I think we got really, even closer during that.
I moved out. I moved in with Ryan, and then
you met Keaton.
Then I met Keaton. But like while I was living with Ryan, I think there was a weird period when I was living with Ryan where we didn't see each other that much.
Well, because you lived like a little farther away. You lived like a half hour away. Mm-hmm. And I'm used to you being like 15, 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just like...
Yeah, it was a lot.
Kind of a lot.
So we didn't see each other that much, but we'd still, like, there were still times you would come hang out.
Like, when you started dating Keaton, I feel like that almost revitalized, like, our connection a bit, because I really vibe with Keaton and love Keaton, and I was really excited when you guys started dating, because I was like... Because you know when your best friend starts dating somebody...
And it can be... Well, I will say, because the first time you met Keaton, I brought Keaton to your house.
Yeah, it was for a Halloween party.
And I was like... That was like a big test for me, too, because Keaton was like my first serious relationship. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, so this is a big test for me, because like, I don't like to babysit.
Right. And Keaton does not need to be...
And Keaton right away...
Sad. Like,
Keaton was like talking to y'all, and I was like... Oh, thank God, I can walk away. Like, I think he even left... Me and you left that night.
We went to go to McDonald's for everybody. And Keaton was like... I didn't even feel like we needed to worry. Like, after, 5 minutes of interacting with Keaton, I was like... Oh, they are such a vibe.
Yeah,
and are gonna... And can talk to anybody and feel comfortable in any situation.
I was also getting your opinions on Keaton.
Yeah, and you were like... Okay, so how do you like them? And I was like, love. And that was kind of like where, yeah, that's.
I was like, that's it. And you're like, I think they're good for you. And I was like,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I feel like when you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's the same way when I met Viv's now husband John.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Oh, every time I saw them together, I'm like, I can't imagine them not together.
Exactly. When you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that definitely made us stronger because having the connection I have with Keaton, and Keaton and I can, have a lot of fun together. It kind of opened the door to 3-person hangouts.
Yeah.
Which have been really fun. And when you guys moved in together into this house, I feel like that's when I truly became your guys' platonic third.
Yep. You're the platonic third.
And that's where we are now.
Yep.
And we've had so many adventures together.
We've had so many. We went to Chicago. That was a dream. That was a movie.
Oh my god.
Chicago trip was a movie.
Yeah. So shout out to Dakota, who's been on Let's Scream.
Yes.
Dakota, when we go to Chicago, lets us stay in him and Taylor's
apartment.
Beautiful apartment, and there's 2 guest beds. There's so much
nice.
room.
It's so nice.
And it's adorable, and we really appreciate it because we've had so many good memories. I remember one of my favorite moments from that trip was when we went to that science.
The Science Museum.
The Museum of Science and Technology. Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Yeah.
And Twink and a Redhead had just put out the "Got My Ass Ate at the Cheesecake Factory," and we fucking love them. And every 2 seconds we'd be in that museum and be like, "Got my ass ate in the hurricane simulator. I'm in a vortex and I'm feeling free.
I got my ass ate at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm in a booth and I'm feeling free."
And then we started the journey of doing a podcast together.
Which was before all of that.
We're jumping around.
Yeah. But that was a post-college endeavor. We actually had another podcast that we never released and will never see the light of day.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. You know what? It was kind of bad. And I'm glad that we didn't I'm glad we didn't go through.
The format was bad.
The format was
bad. It was not. If we wanted to do it, it could have been done a different way.
We were gonna talk about albums and music
and song by song of an album, but we would do 2 albums a week. It was messy.
It was 3 hours long.
It was so long for no reason. So it just did not see the light of day.
No, thank God.
No, we just could not get into it.
And then at one point, because we always loved, obviously, watching movies together.
And you got me really into horror movies. You're the reason I'm in horror movies. That was your contribution to this friendship. I gave you Mariah Carey, and you gave me horror movies.
Yeah, it's true, though, because we went and saw It when It came out.
Yes.
That was very early in our friendship. And we've seen all the Screams when they came out. We've seen all kinds of shit.
And you've shown me a lot of horror movies. And we would always watch Sleepaway Camp 2 together. We loved Sleepaway Camp 2.
And I was listening to a lot of Movie Bitches. They do Drag Race reviews, but they also do movie reviews, obviously. And they're so funny, and their dynamic kind of reminds me of our friendship a little bit. And I was like, I kind of want to do a Movie Bitches style podcast with Stevie. And then I also got really into Dead Meat, the podcast, because I'd watched all of the kill counts a long time ago. But I got really into their podcast around that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, we should do a horror movie podcast, but is from the perspective of 2 queer, non-binary faggots.
Homosexuals.
Scary movies by faggots.
Yeah.
And
that's us.
Yeah, and it's been a journey. Thank you for being on this journey with me, girl.
Yeah, of course.
Can't imagine doing it with anybody else.
Me neither.
And I feel like the podcast has helped us stay connected.
Yes.
As well.
Absolutely.
Because it gives us an excuse to hang out. Why not have another excuse to...
Yeah. And it gives us to not always do the same thing when we hang out.
And we're critical bitches.
We are. And we have differing opinions. Even though we're good friends and we have a lot in common, there's still we have very different perspectives. Because even with our music taste, I know your top 5 Mariah is very different than my top 5 Mariah. Same with Madonna. Both songs and albums.
We will definitely be doing a podcast episode on Mariah Carey.
And Madonna. We have to do it on Madonna.
And definitely on Madonna. But we have a lot of other plans too.
Yeah.
For a moment of clarity.
Yes. So this will be done once a month.
This could also be a good opportunity for us to answer Scream Mail.
Yes.
Too, I thought. We really want to have more engagement on the podcast.
So please ask us questions. Don't even have to be related to horror movies at this point.
Ask us advice. This is a traditional podcast, so we will gladly give you advice. We have lots of opinions to share. So,
yeah.
Okay, well, I think that basically sums up our journey as friends.
Yeah.
We'll be doing more of these, so if we think of any other moments to include.
Oh, we have so many, like, fun moments we could probably discuss.
Yeah, we barely scratched the surface, I think. I mean, we've been friends for 10 years.
Yeah. But I do think this is a good, like, layout. Some iconic moments in our friendship, some of our favorites.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else to add this week?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I think that's where we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for joining us on our first episode of
Moments of Clarity.
We hope you had fun holding the space for our decade-long friendship this episode.
I do want to say, now that I remember, I don't think we ever discussed it. Moments of Clarity, for those who don't know, is inspired by Dr. Holly from Dance Moms. She has a book called Moments of Clarity, and Dr. Holly has some of the best advice.
She's the best dance mom.
She's the best dance mom, and she has the best advice. So this is for you, Dr. Holly.
Yes.
We love you.
Yes, it's our ode to Dr. Holly Hatcher Fraser.
Hatcher Fraser.
Dr. Holly Hatcher Fraser. Try saying that 3 times fast. Dr. Holly Hatcher Fraser. Dr. Holly Hatcher Fraser. Dr. Holly Hatcher Fraser. Dr. Holly Hatcher Fraser.
You did it!
I did it!
You did it!
Sort of, yeah. But okay, yeah, so thank you so much for joining us this week. We will see you next week on the Let's Scream podcast, okay? And then at the beginning of next month for another moment of clarity.
So until next time, this has been
Moments of Clarity. Bye!